Okay, we discuss about the project cost management. Wait. Today I talk a lot. That's why. Yesterday also talk lah. Normally Friday, Wednesday ni saya tak cakap banyak lah. Tapi Wednesday hari ni a lot of discussion. I talk a lot since the morning. Masa penat dah cakap right. So banyak kena minum air lah. Hari ni dah tak tahu berapa liter dah saya minum. Since pagi tadi. Saya bercakap ni. Alright, the table of content for the chapter 5, we talk about the introduction, it's just normal, and then the most important in our discussion, this part lah, plan cost management, estimate cost, determine budget, and the control cost. Cost is one of the big issue in any project. People talk about cost, people talk about how much you spend, for how much you spend, how much you already spent, and then how much you need to spend more. Alright, so this is what we always talk when we discuss about the cost. So what is a project cost management? By definition, the project cost management is the project cost management includes the process involved in the estimating, budgeting, controlling costs so that the project can be completed within the approved budget. So this is what is by the project cost management. So in the project cost management, we have 4 processes. But the 4 process actually groups under the planning and also monitoring. So we have plan and monitoring. We do have a closing, we don't have execution. So cost, we only planning and we monitor the cost. Only 2 activity or 2 process group that involve. Okay, in the plan cost management, after that we goes to the estimate cost. Followed by the determined budget, and then finally we control the cost. Right. So the concept for this key concept for the project cost management is the process of estimating cost of resource needs to complete the project recurring the cost for the maintenance. For example, estimate cost needs to complete the project, cost that we use to complete our project, and then the cost for maintenance. This is what current practice. If you involved with the project, Malaysian government's project previously, they don't bother much on the cost for the maintenance. How about UTM, Fazlan? Is it UTM consider now for a new project, they also including the cost for the maintenance?
For project development project, they don't consider, but they allocate separately on operation maintenance budget. So they actually project cost is they are applied from different sources. For example, from ministry. But maintenance is allocated provision by the annual maintenance, so internally managed.
Okay, actually, I think the JKR also start to shift from the traditional the practice that Fazlan mentioned just now is the traditional method of project lah. We complete the project and then we asking budget separately. But now JKR also moving forward. For one project, they already considered what is the maintenance cost, and then we consider the maintenance cost include with the budget for cost projects. So we estimate. That's what.
Sorry, Dr. Azri, just want to share. there are some cases, for example, special project that are rarely have provision for maintenance. For example, clean room. So let's say if we develop a clean room or wind tunnel, then we provision include the maintenance inside the main project cost.
Yeah, correct. You know the project UTM ada projects under private finance.
Ada
PFI.
A kind of PFI, but not totally PFI.
Either PFI or PPP.
Yes, but that one also include maintenance cost.
Yes, that is what governments referred, and then that's why the JKR also want to shift, because they saw that the PFI or PPP show some positive in terms of maintenance. The governments already include the maintenance cost when they start to award the project. In the early, they know already the cost. That's why if you compare cost for others cost for UITM, budget for UITM compared to other university, we got a very huge budget. One thing is UITM everywhere in this country lah. We have 14 states, and then each state they have a UITM. So beside that, because of they need to pay to PFI. The government already know how much they need to spend for the next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, and then until 22 years. The cost for maintenance already stated in the contract document. So this is we estimate using the project cost management. That's why government they do a value management and then come up with the cost. Okay. All right. So this is how process happen lah. So we have to complete the project and then the cost for maintenance. So and then we have different stakeholders have different way to measure cost. Okay. Different stakeholders have different way to measure cost. If the UITM now I have one PhD student doing the cost for maintenance, the prediction of cost for maintenance for mechanical and the civil trade. We call it the trade. We have a few trade, architecture trade, M&E trade, and also CNS trade. So we focus on two biggest trade, which is M&E and CNS. This is a very huge trade for the maintenance. So I'm the part of the committee to look back into this maintenance cost, and also I have one PhD student doing currently study on this maintenance cost. So because when we refer to the JKR, so the JKR have a different approach on the maintenance cost. That's why here they said that different stakeholders have different way to measure the cost. So we found that the JKR method are not suitable with what UITM facing currently, for cost, maintenance cost, repair, change equipments and all that. All right. So now we are now on. We still study on that lah. My PhD student doing that, looking into the cost. The various costing alternative makes versus buy versus lease. So the cost also when we start the project, we need to decide whether we want to make it, we want to buy it, or we want to lease. This depends on us. So that is where alternative cost. So resource sharing, we have the functional manager. So that functional manager, they have a certain resources, workers, and then you can share. In your department, maybe you can pick up one person from the business, accounting or finance. So pick up one of the staff from the finance to your department in order to help you in term to complete the project in terms of project cost. This is they call it the resource sharing. So the process of resource sharing, we can reduce our cost. Estimate cost of external provider. So we this is the tender process, and then we try to find the best price, and then who can do the job, similar job with a lower price. That's why estimate cost of external providers, and then accuracy of estimates improve as project progress. So if we have experience, normally we are not doing review many times. During before the project start, we call it the value management process, VM, value management. So in the value management, we already know the total cost, what is a need, what is a just wish. So we try to reduce as much as we can the wish list or wish item. Okay. Emerging trend. So how this management of course we see in terms of trends. So what we see, we try to look into what expansions that we use for of the earned value. So as I said, you pay 100, you're supposed to get the complete for 4 wall. Now you pay 400, only you get 3 wall. So that is the earns value. How much you value. So now the value become lower because you cannot complete on time. So earn schedule, they call it, replace the schedule variance. So that is a performance analysis study lah during the, and then we have the tailoring considerations, knowledge management, usability and accessibility of the database. Estimating and budgeting method of variations of cost estimation been done, and projects been managed by this value, use of agile approach, and then cost estimating impact. So this is how we tailored this topic. Right. Next, governance guideline for audits and the governance. So when we talk about the cost, we must know that they have certain guidelines to what they call it, to manage the cost. All right, we have an agile adaptive environment, which is estimate cost just in time iteration. Means that we estimate for each process just in time. When we want to do that process, then we estimate the cost. So the one thing is we can get the clear, much more accurate lah, more accurate. Estimate just in time is more accurate lah, because we know already what happened, because it's very close. So this is agile, and then what is exam? Normally the spotlight on this project cost. Costs are more easily influenced early in the project. So for this reason, it's essential that you define the scope as soon as possible so that you can estimate and influence the project cost. So the scope very important, the schedule very important, and this from the scope and the schedule we can estimate the cost. Okay. So who are involved with the project, they know already that how they can estimate the cost. So because they know the times and all that. Right. Project costs are always constrained on any project, and known and understand your stakeholders' view of cost, how they calculated, and then when and how the costs are recognized from an accounting perspective. Okay. Bila dan how the cost, berapa cost dia recognized from an accounting perspective. Right. When we talk about the current project, kalau this project, this evenings before after office hour, I meet one of my friends lah, because I asking him to design the what they call it, the signboard. This is not the simple signboard lah. The signboard made from the steel and also from the bridge, and then certain specific material lah, steels and all that. So he designed for me four designs, and then I also discussed for each design how much the budget. So he said that because I already give, I said you design based on this. I have this. This is the money that I have, and then can you design this using this certain method lah I described. So now actually the cost burst for the construction. So he said to me that no, all planning is gone because the cost increased about double. Because the cost increased about double. Only one design he showed me that okay, this is not much cost increase, but if you want to reduce more, you do yourself lah, DIY do it yourself. You buy material and then you do it. I give you a complete design. Say okay, when I discussed first with my group because we want to make one of the signboard in front of our residents. So the cost. So I need to manage cost in the early before we start the project. This is a cost management lah. And my task is to get the design and then to determine the cost whether within the range or not. Okay, so it's very tough currently due to the lot of material increase. So that's why when we project or when we plan the cost, we need to plan properly. Okay, all right. So we start the project cost management with a plan cost management. How are we going to plan? What is the definitions of plan cost management? Definition: the process of establishing the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, managing, expanding, and controlling project costs. Okay, that is the definition of project cost management. So, in the plan cost management, project management plan, project charter, enterprise implementation factor, and organizational process, etc. So the project management plan, we have a schedule management plan approach to be taken to plan the project cost, and then we also include the risk management plan under the project management plan, which is the risk management plan actually approach to identify, analyze, and minimize the risk. Because when we involve with cost, we know that we have a lot of risks that can increase our cost, right? So we must put also the risk management plan and the schedule management plan. Next, our inputs also the project charter, high level budget, because inside the project charter, we already declare how much budget. So we must put the project charter in our plan cost management. So we have a ceiling, then we need to work within the budgets that we got. So that's why they call it the high level budget. Enterprise organizational factor, cultures and infrastructure, and then market conditions. We need to know the market condition as what I said just now. When I want to make a signboard, we are not heard about the cost of steel, which is suddenly cost of steel increase about the double of the cost before the COVID. We planned already during the COVID, but the first COVID, that's why we got the cost. But now, cost not valid anymore because the steel already increased double, and then the bridge also, all those construction costs I can say increased right now. That the obvious one is the cost of steel. Okay, the rest like cement also increased. Sand also what you call it, sand, pasir also increased. Lot of construction costs increased right now. It's not a suitable time for us to do a construction right now because cost increase rapid, very, I think sometimes tak masuk akal this cost is we cannot think cost will increase like that. So, but we cannot do anything. We do hope that the current variants, you aware or not, the current variants of COVID. So some economists predicts that if the current variants of COVID-19 separate all over the world, because now you know they just separates among the African country. So now they start to control, especially in the South African, and they said that you cannot, the people cannot enter the South Africans, and then people from the South African also not allowed to go out from what they call it, their country. So this is for the purpose of to stop the variants. And then Malaysians also make advice for Malaysian citizens not to go for this country, to stop from this various separate. All right, we have organizational process, asset, policy, procedure, historical information, and lesson learned. All right, the exam spotlight, the cost management plan is established using the work breakdown structure and its associated control account. Okay, I stop here. We continue next week because at 10 p.m. all of you have a quiz.